Welcome back to Trip Talk Tech. We got a super dope, super educational show for y'all today. We're going to be talking a little bit about some STEM education. We're going to talk a little cybersecurity. We're actually going to also talk about some job opportunities within that space. Um, Today we have a special treat because we get to talk all of these topics with, to me, from what I've been researching and seeing, cybersecurity royalty here, right here in the backyard of Baltimore. Um, Please help me welcome to the show, Dr. Kevin Kornegay. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, Keith. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, no problem. Hey, first, before we get started, we love to just show love to the ones that are actually showing love or giving back and putting back into the community. And again, like I was talking before we got on here, for you, it was when I did the research. I saw what you were doing just in the space that you're doing at the CAP Center at Morgan. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what you're doing with your Cream Lab and really how you're protecting us and working on things to protect us in the future that I'm sure that our audience and hopefully after we get talking a little bit understands a little better what you're protecting us from with all the devices that we carry around and even drop in. We'll get into that. But also outside of that, I think the Baltimore Middle School girls, you guys for your CAP Center at Morgan, where you teaching STEM to young Black females in tech and giving them a free go at it to just learn as much as they can. And again, these programs aren't even in regular middle schools or aren't even in the high schools as options. So again, definitely a salute to you guys for what you do. I know for the parents, like I said, hopefully at the end of this show, the parents, if they don't know about this stuff, hopefully they can learn a little information today, do some research, look you up, and maybe get connected this summer. So again, for all of that, salute, appreciate what you do, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, so for me, the challenge that I would like to kind of solve at Trip Talk Tech, and I talked to you a little bit about it, is I want to ensure that people, especially in underserved areas, our communities, like again, back home in Baltimore, and other smaller communities that might not have all of the resources, but they do have enriched little spots and places where we can get this education that we need. And being an educator, how do you think, or what do you suggest is the best way to kind of get that information out there, or get our kids in these areas kind of more pushed toward these STEM education, um, you know, to help them out in their futures?
Well, I think information is power. Knowledge is power. So,
Hmm.
um, and we have the internet, and everyone's connected all the time. Just do a simple, web search on STEM program for girls for the summer, and you'll get many of options. There are tons of programs that are available. You can also go to university websites, cybersecurity centers, and most universities have within the state of Maryland, there are 14 um, cybersecurity centers, and there's even Eastern Shore, Coppin State,
Okay.
um, um, Bowie. They all have cybersecurity and certified. These are certified by the all of these 14 cybersecurity. These are centers of academic excellence, and we are required to offer a broad range of programs to span from K through 12 to all the way up through to PhD. If that university offers a PhD um, degree, but at Morgan, we have a string of successful programs that span from sixth grade all the way up through to PhD. And so once we get them to the university,
Hmm.
those students don't have to worry about paying for schools because we have scholarships. We
Hmm.
scholarships and fellowships, so we support them all the way through to the PhD.
Wow.
So we sow seeds very early. The whole key, and this is with intent. We operate with intent, and that's what motivates us. So, and
Cool.
that's one of the reasons why I came to Morgan. I've been at predominantly white universities. I've been at Cornell, MIT, Purdue, all across this country, and Georgia Tech. But I came at this stage of my later stage of my career, I came to Morgan because it's the mother lode. I mean, they produce, there's, under the guidance of Dr. Eugene Deloach, who was the founding dean of the Morgan School of Engineering. He had this vision, and where he saw Black excellence, and where he said, I'm bringing these kids from these schools and understanding that there's a huge disparity, and we were just talking about this earlier, in the schools. Some schools offer science, offer math and science, and some do not. So,
True.
so these kids, and I think Dr. Deloach realized that, the PWIs, they take the kids who are already there, who come from, the polys and the toppers, but there's these diamonds in the rough, and you can't fault them for not having the proper foundation and preparation in the math and science.
Correct.
If you bring them in, you have remediation so they can and allow them time to develop those skills. Oh, it's on. So
Now,
and
that
that's
point, not I don't want to cut you off and lose this point that you make. That bring them in. How do I get to that bring them in point? Like you said, 6th grade. How do I get it starting into some program like that?
we sow seeds. So we get the word out. We have flyers. We social media. We use all forms to get the word out.
Okay.
But parents, for some reason, they may not have the time or what have you. But make the time.
Yes.
Make the time. This is 2 weeks, this program, and we're going to do it again this fall, this spring. It's 2 weeks over the summer, but it's 2 solid weeks. It's a wonderful experience. I was chiming in on a daily basis just to observe these young ladies and this magic happening. It was awesome. It was awesome. And so much energy and I had such joy.
Yeah.
I mean, we had so hopefully some of these young ladies, when they go back to schools, they're inspired to
Word of mouth. Talk about it.
yes. So next year we're going to have to, we may expand the program, but because of funds, and we're looking for a sponsor, but hook or crook, we're going to have that program. It's my job to find the money to support, because this program is so important to us. So that covers 6th through 8th grade. We have a high school program. I work with some of the kids at Poly, and they have these capstone projects, and I work with several groups of kids. Those kids then they apply to Morgan. They come into Morgan the semester before their matriculation in the fall. The summer before. We have a PACE program that's run by another one of my colleagues, Dr. Carl White. It's a great program. He's been doing this for years. So where we bring these kids in, they get total immersion in math and science, math and physics.
Okay.
For 5 weeks, they're on lockdown, 24/7. No,
hey, that's all they get. They going to get a super dose.
Yes, and we assess them, and I take the top 15 to 20% of those kids. I offer them scholarships off the rip, full rides.
Y'all hearing this, right?
Full ride.
Go and commit. Go to Morgan. Go into a camp. Commit yourself. If you can get to the 15, 20 percentile of the group, 1 out of 5.
Yep.
They offering you a scout off the rip. He just saying, look, if you can commit to that, I can commit to you.
Exactly.
That right there don't get no better than that, Dr. Cuddy.
Well, exactly. So, but the thing is, we pair them up with mentors who are likely went to their schools
Okay.
as well. So they have peer mentors who would help them um, negotiate the challenges of, the undergrad life. And
Gotcha.
then, and not only that, we set them up for success. It's all about student success.
Hmm.
And what I mean by success is we have this continuum. Batch, we have um, from 6 through 8, high school, bachelor's, master's, PhD. And a student can off ramp at
At
any
any
point.
time.
At any point, doesn't matter. But the thing is,
Gotcha.
all along we support the student in terms of we pair them up with industrial sponsors with summer internships, so they get jobs. But what's nice, so we adopt our philosophy in this process. We adopt it takes a village philosophy.
Gotcha.
Number one, so where every stakeholder plays a role in the development of that kid.
Okay.
Okay, so they serve as, so in addition to the peer mentors, they have professional mentors. And so they're working in this company,
Hmm.
and by the time they graduate, they have job offers.
And
So
man, all they got to do is follow the script, right? They
yeah,
just got to come and
exactly.
get involved. And this is what we're doing this show today for. We letting them know that hey, these resources exist.
Yeah,
Um, it's no reason not to use these resources, and we can use them early. And like you're
yes,
saying, it's a vested interest. If you commit yourself early, you'll
yep,
actually help yourself even more
that's right.
that much so on the back end.
Exactly.
Now, one question I want to clear up before we move on off of this point, because I want it to be clear for everybody listening. Now, you do have the free scholarships for the 6th through 8th. Is that only females from 6th through 8th, or do you
No, no, no,
also?
no. It's for all
Okay,
students. This is scholarships for those who,
females.
no, not just
Okay.
females. For any student who's you come in, you got good grades, you got to maintain the 3.5, all of that. We give you, we train you, you develop the skills.
Mm,
Um, man, so I'll tell you how this works. This
okay.
works because I've had these students, the ones who are great, my PhD students, for example, the four who are graduating in May of this year,
PhD.
they're
Correct.
going to, let me tell you where they're going to. They're going to NIST, National Institute of Standards.
Institute.
One is going to NIST,
Hmm.
one is going to the MITRE Corporation, two are going to Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Labs, and one is going to the National Security Agency. Those are the five.
Top
And
security agencies in the country.
yes, so my one of the students has is making 160K.
Out
$160,000
of school.
start out of Morgan State, fresh PhD.
And guess what? He's not paying no loans back because he
No,
got a scholarship off the rip. Do you
yes,
see how this kind of connects?
exactly. So I've supported him. So it cost me about, I invest from the bachelor to the PhD about so that's uh, maybe, let's see, 60, maybe close to about 300K per student, $1,000 per student for per PhD student.
And how does that make you feel though? When they get the PhD, the plan works. You saw a vision early.
Yes, my
Now it's there. How does
that's
that make you feel?
wonderful. This is why I came to Morgan. It's what motivates me. I want more and more.
There you go. There you go. Y'all heard him. Y'all gotta help him though. Without your
Yeah,
kids, without the
yeah.
participation, he can't do what he
Can't
loves
do
to
it
do.
without. Don't worry about that. That's my job. I get the money. My job is to prepare you for success in this along this continuum.
Oh
That's my
man.
job.
Man, we appreciate you for that, man. That you get me excited about that. Let's switch it a little bit. We'll come back to this definitely because this is definitely help. We'll get out there. Let's talk cybersecurity awareness. I know we talked right before we got on, and at Trip Talk Tech, we do the same thing. We get you some uh advice on your devices, passwords, holiday time. We gave some tips on what to look out for and phishing and things like that. But uh what do you like, do you agree with all the consumers with all of these devices? You got a phone, you got your car, you got all of these Internet of Things or connected 5G, all things will be connected devices. Do you think, would you suggest that users, just a regular everyday consumer, just take some time out and just get basic cybersecurity hygiene, things down in their
Yes,
life? Because it's just
yes,
they don't
exactly.
understand, I don't think, the amount of connectivity they have and the importance
Yes.
just to sit down and say, how do I protect myself?
Awesome. Great question. So here's the problem. You have everything connected to everything.
Mhm.
Okay. And a lot of these devices are designed, including you have, not to mention the legacy devices that are just forgotten, but they're still connected to the internet. They haven't been patched for years.
ELCs. I work in manufacturing. We're going through
Yes.
that process.
Yes. So, and then you have, so it presents this great because it 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 enhances our everyday life, right? It makes we can do whatever. You can come home, turn your lights on, blah 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 blah. But it also, at the same token, there's a risk. It opens it up to more risk.
Back to points everywhere.
So, so now these adversaries, they're no dummies. They know how these devices are manufactured, but they also know the flaws. Nothing is perfect. So a lot of these things are designed without security in mind because the manufacturer's just concerned about getting it out the door. If they think about design security in the design process, it's going to be more
Slow it
costly
up. It's got
and
to
it's going to
slow it
slow it
up.
up. So they're all about profit.
Yep.
Hence, and plus, you don't know where
What they doing across seas with them
so if it comes
semiconductors.
from China, and you don't know if you bring home a device that has some hidden
Video camera
back
or
doors or
surveillance.
whatever.
Yep.
So, everything has a back door. So, there's supply chain issues, there's all sorts of things. So we are just wide open. And then you're talking about AI. Okay, so the convergence of 5G, IoT, and AI. What you have that presents a flat horizontal surface. You can't trust. How do you know you can trust the decisions that the AI algorithm is making? You can easily spoof.
Yep.
So let's say you have autonomous navigation. So you auto drive. Okay, you're in your Tesla. You got it running. All of a sudden, dude hacks into you because a automobile is just another
Computer.
IoT device. It's
Mm.
got many of attack vectors. It can attack your lidar system. Have this confuse the system so that it's supposed to interpret the stop sign and as a stop sign,
Mhm.
but or a pedestrian. It's when it sees a pedestrian, it's supposed to just stop. But
You can
let's say
reverse it.
you can reverse it. You can cause that. You can fool it to say, "Oh, there's no one there." Boom.
Tap on the gas.
Yes. And but we're seeing this today.
Hmm.
So yes, there's tremendous benefits to this, but there are also tremendous things. So we need to be, as users of this technology, we need to be more aware. You need to do better job. First thing, we do simple things because I think um, because the advent of this technology, the technology is so pervasive today. It touches us at home. And I think we're going to see
Yep.
more of it in the very near future, especially this phishing attack. So, folks, if you forget to change the default password, you go buy a router, you bring it home, you
I
don't
was going to
change
say
it.
that.
That's the most basic thing that a hacker relies upon is the user.
Yep.
The number one is the user. Just
Human.
simple things, and you can guarantee. I bet if I did not a survey, but if I did a scan just to see who left their ports open, how many ports?
Everybody.
Yes.
The whole neighborhood you walk down. And to your
Oh,
point, half of them got the same default
yes.
password.
I can wreak havoc. So, and especially you got your smart homes. Oh my goodness, you have your appliance. So, for example, so many things I do. I keep my devices, IoT devices, on a separate
DMZ.
DMZ from my home computer, my computers, and my printers,
Yep.
and my cameras. All this, so I have my security cameras. All that is on separate. I DMZ everything. So you can partition your home environment so that you can keep the untrusted devices. Because the thing is, you have to adopt the philosophy that you can't trust anything.
Zero trust.
Zero trust. So, um, so that, and you'll find that you can sleep easier at night, or maybe with one eye open. But you know, but but um, but you can always count on the consumer just being unaware, taking it for
Unaware.
granted.
Yep.
You have your group of, for example, your seniors. I'm concerned about them, and and now these homes, these these homes have Google whatever. They have the Google devices
Yeah.
in them. They're smart. Hey, guess what? You're at risk. I can hack in and get your credentials easily.
Again, from the same fish that I got your email
Yes,
credentials, and
yes.
all of those things are connected to your Google, and then that's to your Nest. To your Nest, I'm watching
Yes.
your house.
And you don't even know it. You next thing you know, you go check you go to ATM to do a withdrawal, and you ain't got no money.
And then wonder what happened.
Yeah.
So again, like we saying, we're just trying to get everybody out there. Just stay vigilant. To Dr. Kornegay's point, you get anything out of the store. If it has a password, change the default password. It's the small things in the
Be
beginning.
wary of for example, be wary of the device. Let's say you go to the store, you want to buy a new router. It's $59, in the package. But
Mhm.
whoa, look, there's one for $20 that's on sale that's been returned. Guess what? That's very likely been tampered.
Yep. And back on the shelf as an open
Yes,
box, and you take it home
yes.
and you just
So
rush it in.
avoid these. It's not worth it.
It's not. It's
Worth
not.
it.
Be
So
careful out there, right?
yes, but any devices, whether it's your smart thermostat, whatever that's been returned and this package has been unopened.
Be
Oh,
careful.
yes, be careful. Yep.
Cool. Hey, Dr. Cornegay, you've won a lot of awards. You've got a lot of endowments so throughout the years. Like you said, it's on you to go get the money and the kids to go do what they got to do, and you've proven that time and time again with just money coming out the ceiling. With all of that, and I think I know the answer to this from your other answer now, but going through all of this and through your journey and all of these accomplishments, what is most fulfilling for you out of this?
Seeing that student walk across the stage.
That's what I was saying.
And,
I think you kind of answered
and
that.
me hooding them,
That's what's up.
and then going out and making 160, 200K a year,
That's
and
great.
driving around in a nice car, and living a good life.
That's what's
Okay,
up.
but they have a responsibility to pay back. Okay,
Exactly.
so it's all about lifting as we climb.
And that's
Okay?
exactly what we're doing here today with this show with Trip Talk Tech. Again, we both in the same field. I do this for a living. And yes, you get to a point, like you said, you make the money, you live the good life, but it's like, okay, how can I give somebody the same opportunity I have without, again, enabling anybody? I don't have to write a check per se, but if I give you the information to write your own check, to
Yes,
your point, now you'll write other checks for other people
but you
down
got
the
to
line.
be willing to put in the work. There's
That is true.
no quick way. There's no quick
No,
fix.
no,
Like hitting the number, the lottery, whatever. I don't play the lottery, so I
nah,
just put in. It's what you put in is what you get out. Is
that is
that
true.
that's the
That
first
is.
law of the universe. And
Hey, look, that's a gem right there. He gave us a gem, y'all.
yep, yep, it applies to everything.
That is true.
So, you think you can? So, conservation is transform from one form to another. It's not recreated. It's just transformed.
Energy transform and never
Yeah,
dissipates. It just keeps moving. And again,
yes.
that's how electronics work.
Yeah,
Pulsing.
but you think about it, it's the cycle of life.
Yep,
This
that
is
is true.
from birth to death. It's still, we just move on. I mean,
Look
but
at Doc. He dropping them gems. I had, hey, look, you
it's a
putting it together.
continuum. It's a continuum, but you understand that, then things slow down.
And
And
you realize,
yeah,
like you said, I can slow this down and take my time, but I'm working to a place, a target.
yes. So I track, so game recognized game.
Yep.
For the kids that I attract, but again, people, from PWIs are trying to figure out, well, what's your secret sauce? They don't realize we are relational. It goes,
I'm about to say, yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it's about family. So my kids, my students, they're like my kids. So some refer to me as boss, some may call me daddy.
I got
But,
what you're saying. It's fine. It
but
don't matter.
exactly.
We are one. And I think also too, I think you made a good point earlier. I think even starting that program so young,
Oh, early and
like you
often.
said, you're weaning them up. And a
Yes.
lot of times I think what needs to also be noted here is a lot of times, and I don't want to put this out as a stigma, because again, I love my city to death, but a lot of times a lot of these kids are coming from like homes that might not have two parents in the house. So to
Right.
have to see that environment, to
Oh,
be in that place and being nurtured up
yeah, yes.
in
So
that environment.
hey, look, I get the baby mamas, the baby daddies. I mean, the whole content. You're going to get that because we at Morgan, our the student profile is much broader than
The
so.
demographics are the demographics of the environment.
So folks that they take this narrow slither and they toss out the rest. But we take those students
Abreast.
who have a desire. I'll
Mhm.
work with you as long as you're willing to do the work. And it's not going to be easy because I'm going to push you. I strive for Black excellence.
Yeah, yeah. No
That's what we're
shortcut.
about.
No, but nobody's giving anything out. But if you're
So,
willing to learn, I'm gonna supply the information you need to be
yes, I'm going to show
successful.
you how to work through this, navigate this whole system. Because
Yeah.
it is a
It's a
system.
system, and that's I think that's what people don't get either. I think working in this industry, especially as a black man, I think again, like you said, in my 25 years, 27 years of experience, I learned how to move around
Mhm.
and get to where you had to get to. Again, you're going to have those roadblocks, but again, if you study and you use your knowledge, that is not to be
Around,
denied.
under,
Yeah,
but any kind of way. So,
it comes out.
yeah.
But yeah, man. So where I'm from, and I'm sure you hear this because you down here in Baltimore now all the time. But cream, we definitely define it as something a little different in town. But how do you, first of all, what does that stand for Morgan at the lab, and what are some of the things you guys are doing there that's advancing us as a culture, as not even just the culture of people, but just as people with some of these cybersecurity attacks that we will be seeing on our devices and things.
Okay. So CREAM, which is the Center for Reverse Engineering and Assured Microelectronics, CREAM. But we chose that name effectively because CREAM always rises to the top. So it's all about, fits in with our theme of excellence. But what we do in this, we create this real world environment of IoT, this devices, this whole enterprise that
Mhm.
spans from the edge to the cloud,
Okay.
all types of devices that we have Zigbee, Bluetooth, whatever, Wi-Fi devices, lower, LoRa, long range, wireless sensor networks. We have various test beds that span across various sectors. So we have smart home test bed. We have the smart health test bed, smart car, industrial, smart building. We have all these test beds that are all connected to our zero trust software defined networking environment.
Okay.
And then everything communicate the glue that ties everything together is a 5G core. So we create this basically this whole environment of where we present this horizontal attack surface. So now we expose our students to them and say, okay, before you can learn how to protect, we teach them how to attack first. Look for the holes, find the holes.
Be the hacker. Yeah.
Yes, and then we'll figure out how to plug the holes.
Gotcha.
So you come up with all kinds of creative ways, and where the whole goal is to try to bring the network down, right? To create a DNS, denial of service. But where we're looking at is resiliency in the midst of an attack. So this translates to a battlefield campaign where you have system of systems. So we have at the very heart of these things everything is an embedded system. Some microprocessor that's executing your instructions to implement to support your particular application. And you have it's a system of systems.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. And you have this different kind of fabric, whether it's Bluetooth, Zigbee, 5G, whatever. Everything's through some gateway or whatever ways plugged into to 5G. Now you're looking at deep security and depth from the edge to the ground to the cloud. So we are creating solutions, and it's a layered approach, like an onion.
Wow.
That's the only way you can.
Yep. That's
the only way you can address and tackle this huge problem. And so we're developing countermeasures and mitigation ways in order to protect, because these devices they are the basis of our critical infrastructures, smart cities.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And with that being said, like you said, it's part of our smart infrastructure that's coming up with the lights. We see it with trash can pickup now. All of that stuff is IoT connected. Yes. Come pick the trash up today. Yep, agriculture, John Deere. If you look at John Deere, they're making that money off of the data. Hey, don't plan over here, do this, the AI, all of the data scientists, which brings me kind of to my next question. A lot of people always ask, obviously, I'm sure they do the same to you. Once they know you, have an okay career in IT, it's always, hey, I want to get in IT. What do I do? And for me lately, the answer has been 9 times out of 10, look somewhere in cybersecurity. I know with MDRs coming up all over the place, you got Knox for different SIMs, so many things going on in the space. And then again, to your point, as we get closer to 5G, more things will be connected. So meaning more things need to be protected. Right. Like you're kind of heavy at Morgan State and probably dealing with a lot of companies. IBM, I know you used to work with AT&T. What are your feelings on the IT job market? Is that the way to go? I know data scientists also is another new hot one coming up.
Hey, look, the way we're going to need all hands on deck to deal with this. So regardless of how you enter this party, how you come to the party, there's, for example, if you just have an associate's, let's say you don't want to get your bachelor's. So the old apprentice school model where you just go get your certifications in certain things. You learn Python and scripting language, those things, and you can teach yourself that
off of YouTube.
Off of YouTube.
There's
all kinds of. So you can pick up these skills, and guess what? These folks are making 6 figures.
And that I don't think people understand that, because again,
you don't need a bachelor's degree, you don't need a PhD. You just need to have some skills.
That's all.
Yeah, and you can work in this space. But if you, with good, and here's another thing, you want to work on the classified side, which is a whole nother world. Your credit better be straight. Because they
don't let you in. They don't let everybody in that door, do they?
No, and you got to watch what you do, especially on social media, what you put out there, because they check all of that.
Tell them, Doc. Tell them
all of that.
Just let them know.
And it's even if you mess with the cannabis tree, if you plan to go in this space, you got to certain things, lifestyle changes you're going to have to make. You want to play in that space, you're just going to have to make some
Some
decisions.
adjustments. So you
Yeah.
gotta make some decisions.
That's
Yeah.
what so we all did whatever when we were younger,
Yeah.
and that's okay. But the thing is, if they look at behaviors. There's lots of things. One of the other things too, everyone has this myth about the what do you call this not the lie detector, but the what you call the test that they take to get your security clearance, the poly test, the
Politics.
polygraph test.
Yeah.
So the polygraph, there's a lot of myth to it. Um, Folks are very scared of it. Some of my students who actually use some people take 2 to 3 times before they pass their poly. Um, but anyways, we have um, uh, some workshops where we actually go through the poly test.
Oh, okay, to
So
help them
students,
out.
yeah, to help students out. Oh yes,
That's
and we
cool, man.
have workshops with and these are um, given by the NSA folks,
Oh, okay.
people that look like us who are, employed there,
They've
and
been through it and they can give you the
yeah,
real.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Man, y'all really giving them the whole full experience. Like you're really trying to
Oh,
set them up for
it's
success.
success. That's
That's
it.
it.
By hook or crook, we do it, um, and it's gratifying to me because
I
just
see. I can see the
it's
smile on your face when you talk
yes,
about it.
it's a passion. But the thing is,
Yeah.
a lot of folks say, "Oh, he's this and that." No, it's my passion. I'm motivated. I'm serious about what I do. I love what I do. I don't plan to retire. Now, you got to catch me for the next 20 years. So I don't plan on retiring until I hit maybe 75 PhD students.
Okay. All right. We gonna hold you to that
Yes.
75. You heard him. He on record with Trip Talk Tech 75. Then we can let him exit stage left. Hey
Yes.
man, like you said, that's your passion. I get that because once I got hooked into the IT space, that became my passion. Like again, this is my passion to get the message and the information out to others behind me. Um, how does that passion tie into your overall purpose in life, you think? Because I wonder that sometimes about myself, like, did God put me here to just be a IT person and
It is.
yeah.
I think, yes, I believe that is my purpose. I mean, back in 2012 or whatever, to 2011, I had to do some soul searching. Okay, do I? It's a dark time for me because I had just come off of a contentious divorce, and
Okay.
I mean, I just left my job. I left. I was at Georgia Tech. I just left.
Okay.
So I had my sons. I was very active in their lives, and it's just crazy. But
Hmm.
so I started thinking, I was gonna had a choice. I was thinking about going off the grid, or
Get some time to yourself and figure it out. You
yeah,
got it.
yeah. I mean, there's options, and this is a black man thing that brothers
Yeah,
go through.
yeah,
This
yeah.
this,
We had
this is
nobody to
real,
talk
bro.
to. You go
Yeah,
out and you feel
bro.
like
Do something crazy. Go off the left end. So
Mhm.
I decided to. I said, you know what? I'll come to. There was an opportunity at Morgan. I said, you know what? I need a fresh start, and I've done all these things. Let me get back to my roots. And so I came back, and this has been my purpose. I get lots of opportunities to do, and yes, there are challenges uh, that I encounter, lots of things. I mean, I came to a resource constrained environment. I've done all of this from nothing.
Wow.
From nothing.
That is to be saluted. Like I said,
But
I saw some of them endowments that you're getting from all over the country, and yeah, it's a lot to be
I
said.
mean, it's so much easier at a PWI, but uh, you know, I had an inkling as to what the barriers that my HBCU colleagues face, but I didn't realize it until I was on this end. But I knew how to build. That's one thing. I know how to build. So I just
Built.
dug in and had a plan, a vision, make some great students. So all the ingredients were here. It's just, you know,
You had to do the work. You had to do the work.
and it's a lot of work, but if you're willing to do it, the payoff is just, and now we're making an impact. So I came here so I think that's my
Purpose.
purpose. And because the Lord just continues to bless me,
Mm-hmm.
and He brings people
To you.
into, yes. I
Hey,
mean,
that point right there you make, and I try to tell people that, man, when you put yourself in the right mindset,
He gonna bless
right?
you. He gonna bring these
And
people.
you're going to attract those things. They're
Yeah,
coming, like you said, they're coming to you. You're not like, again, I'm coming to you to hopefully put the message out. You didn't call
yep.
me for that. You know what I'm
But
saying? So these
exactly.
things get
But you got to
attracted
be
to you.
careful. You have to have the
The right mind.
discernment,
That's
right?
true.
So you know you can't just say, "Oh, look
Yes
at
to anything.
what all the glitter ain't gold."
That is true. That is true.
Okay, so you gotta, and that's where my wisdom comes into play. And I listen to the rhetoric. And for example, someone comes to me and says, "We want your," starts off the conversation with, "We want your students." That's the old plantation model.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. So we see it in sports, but it also exists in
I'm about to
academia.
just say in
Okay.
sports, they do the same thing, but in
So
technology
yeah.
is
So I'm like saying, no, why should I do that? And I don't have a relationship with you. I don't know you.
so I don't know if you're
So would you
gonna have a
entrust
good relationship with the person that has the relationship with me. No,
yeah.
I can't do that.
So would you entrust your children to a stranger? So that's the same thing. I said no. So we got to have a relationship, and that relationship is founded on research.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And by the way, you're gonna play a part in that student's bringing up that student.
As after I hand them off, this is let's see how professionally you're gonna keep developing
And the
them.
thing is, you must. The expectation is you're going to commit to them. You're going to extend a job offer at the end of this journey, their journey. Now, it's up to you, up to them to decide where they, if and when. But my job is to have to at the end of
Resources in
the
line.
journey, yeah, and resources. But at the end of their journey, they have options.
True that.
Okay, so
Definitely.
they can, yeah. So like the one kid, he had several offers from NSA, and he chose to go um, to Johns Hopkins. Why? Because
Options.
yes, yes,
He
options.
had he had a choice.
Yes, yes, yes.
None of us, a lot of us can't say that. So again, man, just salute to you what you do there. Um, what's next? What's next for you at Morgan in the Cap Center? Like you said, you got graduations coming up in May. Some people you get the hood that you started out young with. Is it
Yes.
just the summer camps coming and you get to
The
do it
summer
all
camp.
over?
So be on the lookout. My wife is having, or I wish she's having they're having a workshop. I'll forward that link to
Okay,
about
and
the
we'll put it all on the site. If you give it to me, I'll make sure to get all over the interview.
yeah.
We'll take care of it.
She has she's gonna have we're gonna have the program again this year. I suspect there'll be um,
Girls.
more girls. We'd like to expand it, but depending, we'll see. We'll see how many applicants we get. And yes, we'll look forward to that. I've been on sabbatical, writing books, and um, just always grinding, man. Always got to worry about, got to bring in that money so that can
You
keep
can
this
help these
thing
kids
flowing.
out, man. Hey,
Yeah, yeah. That's
that's
what drives me.
totally.
So during COVID,
Uh-huh.
folks were making excuses during COVID. Man, I was grinding.
You was getting it
You
in,
know,
huh? While everybody
all
was
this stuff.
sleeping, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I said work smarter, not harder. So I created all this. Built up and developed our remote collaboration environment. So all the tools, we can all still work. We don't have to physically be there, and that was just great for us. So we were still writing, still doing research, still publishing papers, while folks taking advantage of the
And they
COVID.
weren't taking advantage of the technology right around
No,
them. Right. Never
no,
did.
no. We even from my class,
Mhm.
remote measurement capability. So students, as a matter of fact, so it's this whole thing about digital divide, and that still exists today.
Mhm.
Because we don't have, well, we have world-class stuff, but in general, some of the facilities are not comparable to those of PWI. And so this digital divide, like Hopkins has 5G across campus, we don't. That's an example.
Gotcha.
We're Morgan, we're in the, you know, we're in a predominantly black neighborhood.
Hmm.
Um, so that's gonna be the last. They didn't put no 5G over there.
Hmm. Well, you know how it is. It'll be the last community to get it.
Yeah, but we got to. Here's another thing. In part, that feeds this vicious cycle. Our people traditionally are averse to technology, unless it's linked
The
to
phone.
entertainment, right? The phone, but especially with our senior folks, they're technology averse. Some, for example, some folks still don't know how to use the ATM.
True.
Um, so COVID showed us a lot where we had a lot of, you know, Zoom, with doctors were having virtual meetings with patients. And
Exactly.
some folks don't know how to.
Get on there to connect.
No, they don't have the connectivity. So, but anyways, there's so
Yeah.
many things that, and then I was reading today, there was an article in Higher Education, Chronicle of Higher Education about this whole, um, they want to, they don't want to, folks to know how they treated black folks during slavery. So this race, this critical race theory nonsense,
Ah,
and
yeah.
how they don't want universities to teach professors to teach that stuff to their kids. So there's legislation that there's starting in they're trying to push in Texas, but they're going to get a lot of pushback because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
goes against intellectual freedom and stuff like they want to do away with tenure. So they want to say people who teach this stuff they shouldn't get tenure. I'm like, what?
You're just gonna erase their existence because you want to make the same amount as the guy next to you. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, man. But
Anyway,
like you
so
said, that was like you said earlier. You know, for these programs that you're doing in the summertime, and obviously enrollment is a big thing, but also sponsorship. How do companies get in contact with you? You know, when we put this out there, do they just email you? Do they go to a website? How can they get up with you to try to talk sponsorship for these programs for these kids?
just email me, but do your homework first. Don't just come and say, oh, there's a lot of information that we put on our website. So do your,
Okay.
even about me, so do your homework. And then um, let's talk about win-win, but it's all about student success.
Student success. If you're not about student success in the journey,
Yeah.
don't send that email.
And it has to be win-win whereby it's not, I'd like to use the grocery store analogy where,
Mhm.
you know, you raid the shelves and they're empty. So who's gonna, I ain't got no inventory to replenish it. How do I sustain this? What's a sustainable model? So it's got to be some investment and, uh, but because what you get on the back end is this, again, as I mentioned earlier, the students are a byproduct of the research. Students are, they're the ones, they're the benefactors.
Yeah.
So, um, and it costs me so much to get that student to that point. And you just want to come and take the student. It doesn't work that way.
Don't work that way. Yep.
No.
They want the
I mean,
free.
there's a lot of thing. There's a lot, as you noted. There's a lot of nurturing that goes on, and that they're not going to get at PWI. You can go to Hopkins. You ain't gonna get none of that.
Not that
I went
extra
to
care.
Berkeley. I went to California, Berkeley, and because I'm from New York, because of my makeup,
Mm-hmm.
I could survive in an environment
Anyway,
where,
yeah,
you know,
a little hostile.
yeah, it's hostile where you know you're not welcome. You
Yep,
hear people whispering all that stuff, but I overcame all that stuff. It made me, but not everybody is,
it's built like that. I
yeah.
get it. I know exactly what you're saying.
So some of these kids, some of these, man, you got some of these kids already got this stuff because they've been beat down by the system. You know, they didn't have a male father figure at home, you know, or whether it's they didn't have that.
Any figure, yeah, and it's
Or
just
any figure. There's some of them, let's
they
just,
raised by their grandparents, you know.
yeah,
And not saying their grandparents on figures, but you know, not a one of, you know,
yeah.
you know what it goes.
And
So
their first generation, they didn't have nobody knows care about no college. You
yeah,
know, so yeah, it's all of
yeah.
that. So they faced with all of that. Whereas, you know, most of these kids, you know, PWIs, they're second, third generation for them. Like, yeah,
Like you saying, a lot of kids you're getting, they're breaking generational curses.
yes, yes,
They're starting new things, and they
yes.
come to you, and like I said, like you said, for the nurturing piece, they're very brittle. So it's like if I just send you somewhere and you get broke, you coming right back home, and what could have changed your families forever.
You know,
You know, I'm not going to let nobody pull the plug on that, and that's to be saluted, man. Like you just, I think that is just awesome, and like you said, I think you'll be blessed in return for years to come. Last question, and I'm gonna let you get out of here. I know your time is sensitive. I want to respect that.
okay.
You just said you from New York. I think Brooklyn. I read on you, right?
Yeah, I was born in Brooklyn,
Okay.
Raised in Queens. So,
Raised in Queens. So I'm
yes.
gonna ask you this. Queens, I think I might know, and I'll give you what I think at the end. But we ask all our guests this at Trip Talk Tech. Favorite pair of tennis shoes all time. We gotta lighten this interview up here.
Oh, let me see. Oh, Stan Smith, the whites.
Ah, the Adidas Stan Smiths. Now look, I was close. I was thinking because you said Queens, I just went ahead with the shell toes. But the stands, all right, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one.
I mean,
Hey, Doc, I appreciate you so much, man. Like I said, I'm one of it is my mission, our mission at Trip Talk Tech to get this information out there so people in Baltimore at least know to at least come see you. Get associated with your early middle school if you can, sixth grade.
oh,
Again,
you young ladies, come. Yes.
please, please. I'm telling you, he said last year this camp looked like real live Wakanda in there. The girls were in there, just women teachers, women engineers, women cybersecurity, teaching other women, and they're building things in there. Definitely check it out. Like you said, this is not only regarded to women, this is open to everybody, males too. Women, you just get to go for free because we need more women in tech. Dr. Kornegay, thank you, sir. I appreciate your gems and your time and your wisdom and also
Well,
your
thank you,
service.
Pete. Yes. Thank you. This was a great experience. I really enjoyed speaking with you. Now we're about to go into the afternoon, but this has been really great. I
Oh
appreciate it.
man. Hey, look, let's stay connected. And
Yes.
like I said, I'll if you send me the
I'll
information,
send you
like
the link.
flyers and stuff, I'll make sure I get that stuff up, man. And we'll just continue to work together. And maybe I get to come over and see the lab too.
Oh,
Check it out.
yes. Hit me up
All
whenever.
right, man.
Okay.
Hey, thanks a
Thank you.
lot. We salute you, sir. Have a
All right.
good one, Doc.
You too as well.